Canada prides itself on its diversity and its multiculturalism. Yet our history is full of examples where it has fallen devastatingly short of those ideals. Remembering the oppressions and atrocities committed against racialized communities is one step towards ensuring we address their lasting impacts and make sure they are never repeated. Yet, systemic racism, bias, and hate keep showing up. Racialized communities often face disproportionate impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. Indigenous communities continue to discover unmarked graves of children who attended residential schools. Minority communities are facing increasing hate on and offline. The need for anti-racism work has never been greater. The Canadian Race Relations Foundation plays an important role in that work. It was born out of one of this country's most tragic events, the forcible expulsion and confinement of Japanese Canadians during the Second World War. It's a chapter in Canada's history that cannot be forgotten. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the government labeled Japanese Canadians enemy aliens. Over 21,000 citizens were taken from their homes and forced into prisoner of war camps, sugar beet farms, and internment camps across Canada. Their homes and possessions were sold without consent, and families received little to no compensation. Conditions in the camps were abysmal. Overcrowding was common, and the dilapidated housing offered no winter protection. In the wintertime, there was only a wood stove. The bathroom and everything was all outside. In the wintertime, my mother had to bring the snow in the house and melt it. Lina Hayakawa, sent to a sugar beet farm in Manitoba at 11 years old. Even after the war, Japanese Canadians were barred from returning to British Columbia's coast until 1949. The National Japanese Canadian Citizens Association formed in 1947, renamed the NAJC in 1980. It represented groups across Canada. The association fought tirelessly to get adequate compensation for the reprehensible treatment inflicted on Japanese Canadians by the federal government. In 1988, almost 40 years after families were forcibly interned, and years of work from Japanese Canadian activists and community allies, Prime Minister Mulroney acknowledged past wrongs and apologized to Japanese Canadians. The Japanese-Canadian Redress Agreement awarded payments to survivors and funds that were matched by the Japanese-Canadian community towards the creation of the Canadian Race Relations Foundation, a national crown corporation dedicated to promoting an inclusive, equitable Canada for all. Today, the CRRF works with communities across Canada to empower racialized people to challenge the policies that harm them. It provides funding to anti-racist organizations, and it brings communities together to help ensure Canada does better by the people who call this country home. It's up to all of us to hold our society accountable so that we never repeat the mistakes of our past.